for our next question, it's one that we get and we have very different opinions on, so this should be a good one. It is whether or not you should put your address, like your full address, on your resume. Kaylee's going to weigh in with her version.
I don't think you should. I think having the city and state that you live in is important, but the physical address that you reside in, I don't believe is a value add for a lot of roles. That is my opinion. Whitney's a little bit different on what she's thinking.
Valid. So I also think that it is, regardless of whether or not you put your full address on there, city or town and state at the very least is crucial. The reason I advocate for putting your address on there is that in the essence of being realistic, it's kind of twofold. When you are applying to jobs, you should look up the address of the company that you are applying for. If you are not comfortable with the commuting distance to that office, do not apply for the job. Typically location can be a sticky subject in that regard, which on the hiring manager side of things and on the HR department side of things, when people are looking for a role in a big city, Houston's a great example. Houston is a big place. So if you're applying for a job that's in Houston, I suggest you put your actual address on there, because if somebody is going through and they're reviewing the resumes and they see that your commuting distance is, actually 2 hours with traffic away, then you're saving everybody's time a little bit. Yourself included, because we all know it's a super bummer to get your hopes up over a job and then at the end of the day, there's no way you can make the commute work. So I just feel like if you're in a big market where the commutes, depending on traffic or location, can be especially egregious, then I think that it's a really relevant thing. But otherwise, I think it's safe to say, for example, like if you're in Greeley, it's fine to put just Greeley or, Platteville or wherever. But in markets like Houston, Midland, some of these areas, definitely think you should consider putting the full address on. But more than anything, look at the company and I think check it out yourself.
I think doing the research on where you're going to be looking at as far as the role when you apply is really critical. If it's something that is navigatable, wrong word.
Navigable.
For you on a personal basis, then great. That's something that you can explore. That's part of the reason why, in my opinion, you put just the city and the state, because that decision needs to be something that you do on a personal basis, in my opinion. But this is the debate, right?
This is the debate, and I will throw one more wrench in the system, which is if you are looking to transition markets and you're looking to move, I think it is absolutely a good idea to be upfront with that.
Yes.
We, over the course of the last, practically decade, have had more than one situation, unfortunately, where folks have utilized a local address when they are looking to have a relocation put forth. 9 times out of 10, that doesn't work. Put where you are. If you're applying in a different market, explain it, use it in the phone interview, make sure you put it in your cover letter, just so that it's an upfront thing. It's not a good look when it gets down to negotiation time and or interviewing and you say, oh, by the way, I live in a different state. So be aware of that. I know that a lot of times we get kind of nervous because we're like, oh, they'll never even look at my resume if I don't live in the state. And that might be the case. But it's far better to have that situation, in my opinion, again, only my opinion, than it is to, be a great candidate and lose the opportunity because you weren't forthright about where you were.
Yeah, I think it's about communication, and also with the application process. In most of the online applications, you're going to be asked to provide your address. So that's why I also think that, most of the time you don't need to have it on your resume in full detail, because it will be disclosed, hopefully appropriately, in your application process. But I think that's really good insight from Whitney on how to handle
only the best,
right? On how to handle the difference of relocating. It's a tricky thing to cover.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hopefully that's helpful.
Thanks.